My name is David Rikasi. You can call me Anko D, and I'm the newly acquired Bombardier jet for NSSF Friends with Benefits. And in just my first month, I have covered over 5,000 miles. I have literally been to every corner of Uganda, and I can stake my life on this. This is a special season.
Oh, fantastic. Good to have you on board, David. Welcome to the show.
Welcome. All right, so I think it's time we meet our contestants who are going to face the panel of judges. But before we go any further, remember they are counting on your votes to make it to the top 8 contestants and then down to the top 3 winners who will be announced at the grand finale.
But before we get into the voting details, which we shall give you a bit later on, it's time to meet our judges and find out who will be stepping up and giving them those questions. First up, we do have Barbara Arimi, of course, Head of Marketing and Communications, NSSF.
And for the first time on the show, we have award-winning journalist and communications expert, Simon Kasiate.
Our soft-spoken human specialist is back, the lovely, wonderful Mabel Chigundu. So, without much further ado, are you guys ready to meet our first contestant? Yeah! Well, let's find out together. Who is it?
Here we are in Lugung village, Omoro district. Have you ever paid 25,000 Ghana shillings for a single border ride? Well, I paid 25,000 Ghana shillings on a border from Gulu town to Lugung village. And that was a long, bumpy ride. They say disability is not inability, and that statement sounds even more true when you meet Patrick Oponya. Patrick lost his eyesight and used his benefits to invest in a beekeeping project that has turned his life around. Patrick, kopongo.
Kope.
Afoy mate?
Afoy mate.
We're surely not leaving this place without tasting the honey. Now let's listen as Patrick tells his NSSF story.
The problem of my eyes came when I was still working as a security guard. I went to my doctor, then examined my eyes, and then my doctor told me that I have a disease of eyes called glaucoma. So my doctor told me that I will remain blind. I was shocked, really. I wanted even to commit suicide because I was having nowhere to start with life. It was not easy. It was very hard. My manager told me that I should resign. He requested me like that. I just went ahead and get a letter from him. Then I went to NSSF office. Then I start processing my payment.
Patrick got his benefits of 2,940,000 Uganda shillings, and right in the background is one of 2 of Patrick's beehives. Patrick started with 20 beehives. He now has 44 beehives and 4 beehive managers.
They are the one taking care of my farm. If it has come to maybe slashing the farm, they are the one helping me a lot.
Bia char ma wati ka temu ne wani chwane to gwa ko kijbe an ba cha jwer tere mi toto ne ba adoro ka du ken mi parking ya tere chuka be ya char ya ga chana kelo ko tiu ke.
In a cool season, Patrick will take home a cool 1.9 million Uganda shillings.
The money which I'm getting out of my farm is the one who I'm paying with the school fees, paying for the medical reimbursement, and buying clothes for my children. Even if I'm blind, right now I'm very happy because I'm doing a lot. I'm helping even the community, training them how to keep bees. If I would have not got the money from NSF, what I'm doing right now, I was not in position to do because I was having no money even to transport my luggage when I was coming home. I've got the money. I wanted to expand my number of beehives to lead in bee farming in northern Uganda.
Please help me in welcoming onto the stage our very first contestant, Patrick. Thank you for that nice warm applause, and keep it coming as we have welcomed onto the stage our very first contestant, Patrick Oponya. And the lovely lady sitting next to him is his wife as well. A round of applause, please. All right, now to the business end of the show, we throw it over to our judges, who I'm sure have some questions for our contestant. Barbara, fire away.
Thank you. Patrick, very welcome once again to the NSSF Friends with Benefits show. I am very interested in your product. How do you actually package it? I can see it's already packaged. What is your brand name? Where do you distribute this honey? Can we have a look at what you have come with?
So I've come with the honey and the propolis. Okay. So that is the product I've moved with. This is the honey, and the propolis is inside the bag. So what I was getting out of this, I normally get getting market is not easy, so I've not yet got a right market. I was selling it at the local people around my village. So I've not yet got the right person who I can supply honey with, but I normally, when they are in need of getting the bee venom, so when the bees sting you, there's something with bees released on you, yes, which is very painful. That is what I normally get the money out of it.
Okay. What is that used for?
Yeah, it's a medicine. We can even use it as a medicine. If you're having malaria, if bees sting you, so maybe it can give you a serious sting, but you will not feel malaria again for a year.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Over to you, Mabel.
Patrick, I wanted to find out from you, after you had come out of that, why did you decide beekeeping? Why beekeeping of all businesses?
I decided to do beekeeping. Beekeeping doesn't take big piece of land. Secondly, it does not consume a lot of our time. If you have to have a farm, then you have to maybe go and try to check around your farm. So I can say it cannot consume our time a lot, because I'm a blind person. I can't move and check what I have every day or every time. That's why I decided in bee farming.
Okay.
That's a good outlook, Patrick, and it's a very good projection of where you want to be. To date, if I may ask, how much honey in terms of volume do you produce in a year, for example?
For last season, so you know, with the honey we harvest in season, when we are harvesting, we normally, in our area there, we harvest in March, and then if not rain too much, in June, and then in November. But in March, I've got 120 kilogram of honey. That is purely honey, not even the propolis and the bee venom. I've got out of that 1.9 million shilling.
Wow. And you'll allow me, Gaetano, pay special tribute to Patrick's wife. As it's already said, behind every successful man is an incredible lady, but in her case, she's not behind him. She's in fact besides and sometimes in front of him. My sister, Apoyo Mate.
Well, there you have it, a very inspirational story, a very sad story, but there is a silver lining in his cloud. Now, if you would like to have Patrick go through to the next round, it's very simple. All you have to do is vote. Dial *254# and follow the instructions, or you can go online, www.nssfug.org/FWB, Friends with Benefits. Very simple, and vote for Patrick. Thank you very much, Patrick. We're going to be back after this very short ad break with our next contestant. Don't you go anywhere. Guys, you remember how we do this? You are watching Friends with
Nzijukira ebiseera ebyo abawagizi ekitiibwa nali muzira mu kisaawe nembulamu obwa bulijjo nga nsobola okwetuusaako buli kye njagala. Naye olunaku lumu byonna ne biggwaawo. Singa nategekera obukadde bwange nandibadde mu bulamu obweyagaza kati.
Every year, millions of Ugandans retire into poverty. To reduce that number, NSSF has introduced voluntary membership, which allows more Ugandans to save with NSSF and makes contributing easier by letting you pay through mobile money. It is available to individuals who run companies that employ less than 5 employees, as well as those who used to save with the fund and are now gainfully self-employed but are below the age of 60. Sign up today by visiting your nearest NSSF branch.
NSSF, a better life.
Welcome back to NSSF Friends with Benefits. I am Crystal. Now, we just heard from our first contestant. Now, let's meet our second contestant this season.
Welcome to Kasese District, home to the imposing Rwenzori mountain range.
So here we are to meet Samex Nabulia Mwanje, a man that got his benefits and decided to come back to the community and set up a community-based organization that helps uplift the lives of the less fortunate through training programs. Let's take a listen as Samex tells his NSSF Friends with Benefits story.
My name is Samex Sinabula Mwanje. I'm 54 years and I got withdrawal benefits from NSSF. I received my benefits in 2015, but it only took me 2 weeks, I remember. There wasn't any problem. In fact, I was very surprised when I got a message that there is money on my account, and when I went to check, money was there. When I got the money, I started looking for a place where I'm going to go to the office. Because I was working in Ruel and I had a very good experience in Ruel, I started my office in Ruel. My organization is called Costa Uganda. Costa is an acronym, but it's Community Skills Trainers Association. And what we do is to train the communities. We do trainings in food and nutrition, that is cooking demonstrations. We do trainings in VSLOA, that is Village Saving and Loan Association. And it is within Well Town Council, and this group of ladies, they are what? They are doing it. So we have a lot of projects that we've done, but this one of Kasese is more, it has reached a level where the impact can be felt. In fact, it came after experiencing a big problem which the girl child goes through during menstrual periods. I thought, how best can we help these rural girls? And we thought we can come up with a proposal of making reusable homemade sanitary pads. And when we tried it out, it was working. When you look at the products of these Kasese guys, the Queen Confidence sanitary pad. It is competing with the modern products on the market.
aho twamasomeresha sanitary pads omubyesha sente esa henu ukatoka erikora sanitary pad aho twasomera erisikora kyabiri tu increasing sente because ukatoka erisikora wamanzi wasikora omwabyara iwatwara omwakatale iwihamu akasente kawe.
If I had not received my benefits and from NSSF, sincerely, I didn't know whether I would have been able to start this organization. Because now when you look at this program, it's because of NSSF.
Okay, you have heard his story. Now let's meet our second contestant, Samix Mwanje. I have to say, to see that you are doing this for the girl child is absolutely amazing. Please, yes. Yes. Now, I am going to hand you over right now to our judges because I'm sure they have very many questions for you. So, over to you.
Mr. Sinabulia, you have a product on the market.
Yeah.
It's called Queen's Confidence. Helping a community also means you must be profitable. What do you see that product being in the next 5 or 10 years?
My role here is maybe to promote these people, to see that they get market, to see that they improve their product, because the training we are giving, it was this type. This is what they started on. This is also a sanitary pad, but very simple. Let's have a look at it. You cannot compare it with this one. So in the next 5 years, I would love Costa Uganda to be a big organization, an NGO, because now we are a community-based organization. And with that partnership, I'm seeing Costa enlarging.
How do you make a living?
I have a wife, and she's a very good wife. Not only good in beauty, because she's also beautiful, but she has stood with me. Since I started this organization, I'm not earning a living, but she has supported the family. She told me, it's as if you married another wife, which is Costa Uganda. You do whatever it requires with Costa Uganda, and then I will focus on the what? On the family. But as I told you, that when we are partnering with other organizations, they facilitate us in terms of funds to go and reach out a wider what? So there is that little fee we charge to buy materials and to transport ourselves. But when it comes to monthly earning, sincerely speaking, I don't have now a way. Only my small local business in the what? In Ruel, I have a boutique that helps me to balance my life.
Which you started up with the balance of the savings from NSSF?
Definitely.
Wow, incredible.
With the exception of the Queen Confidence that we have seen, what other projects have been successful? At least share about 2 others where you've had an impact.
We have malaria control.
Okay.
Where we focus so much on how can you eliminate mosquitoes. Because we interact with mosquitoes every day, every night, everywhere. So we came up with this mosquito repellent jelly. We train communities to make this jelly that you smear on your body and the mosquito will not what? Bite you. So that we expel away what? Mosquitoes.
All right, Samix, thank you so very much for your story, and we wish you all the best. So if you are touched by Samix and his story, you have to vote. So dial *254# and follow the instructions, or visit the website nssfug.org/FWB. Make sure you vote for Samix Mwanje. after the break.
Fall in love with the new NSSF Go app today. Download the app from your mobile app store and do much more than view your current NSSF balance. You can now set your savings goals and work towards achieving your retirement benefits. Make voluntary payments and update your details directly from the app. We understand why you're falling in love with it, so go ahead and share this experience.
NSSF, a better life.
Well, we've heard from our very first two contestants, but who will be the first one to make it to the 8 in the semi-finals? Who will it be? Will it be Patrick Oponya? Or will it be Samex Mwanje?
So tune in next week to find out who the winner of this episode will be. The votes will be verified and audited by PwC.
We would like to thank our judges tonight for doing their very best. We do appreciate you. A round of applause for the three awesome. You, the viewers at home, and don't forget, you do have to vote. We've given you the instructions. It's very simple. And of course, to our very lovely audience.
Now remember, if you do not have the NSSF Go app, there's a problem. Download it. Now I can give you 100 reasons to download it, but I'll start with just one. You are able to track your savings on NSSF. Now special thanks to Afros and Mo for hair and makeup. I mean, look at Gaetano's hair. Absolutely stunning.
Panange, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate it. Can you borrow me some? Is it lend or borrow me some?
I will lend you some.
All right, make sure you tune in next Sunday right here for the next episode of Friends with Benefits.
All right, we'll see you next week. Make sure you tune in.
Friends with
Benefits.
Masape from Airtel is back, and everyone, we mean everyone, gets some bonus. All you have to do, check your target, recharge, get 100% bonus on data and minutes. Dial *162# today to know your target. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The Petroleum Authority of Uganda invites the general public for the public hearings for the Environmental and Social Impact Assessment Report for the proposed East African Crude Oil Pipeline (EACOP) project. The proposed EACOP project involves the development of a 1,443-kilometer heat-traced, insulated and buried pipeline from Hoima in Uganda to Tanga in Tanzania. In Uganda, the EACOP will run for 296 kilometers and traverse 10 districts of Hoima, Chikube, Kakumiro, Chankwanzi, Gomba, Mubende, Luengo, Sembabule, Chotera and Rakai. The public hearings will be held from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. as follows. Monday, 21st October 2019 at Chisita Primary School, Chisita A Village, Kakumiro District. Wednesday, 23rd October 2019 at Kasana Grounds, Chenda Trading Center, Mubende District. Friday, 25th October 2019 at Luanda Public Grounds, Luanda Village, Rakai District. Copies of the ESIA report are available at the offices and the websites of the Petroleum Authority of Uganda, the National Environment Management Authority, Ministry of Energy and Mineral Development, and the headquarters of all the affected districts. Any comments and views should be addressed to the presiding officer at the address below. Inspirational moment with Pastor Jackson Senyonga of Christian Life Church, Kampala.
saving at least 8 to 10% of your income and put it on savings. If your wife or husband gets to know that in a week we don't have to take meat 5 times, saving account, that partner will be able to wait because she's aware of the big things that we're trying to save for. Save some money that will educate your children. You know how you don't wait until university time. You have an opportunity of starting to save little by little, little by little, little by little, little by little. By the time they get to university, you have money to pay for the first or second semester.
P5 National Deliverance Day 2019 at Mandela National Stadium, number going and 1,000 shillings coming back.
Up next on UBC, brought to you by Mega Masape from Airtel is back. And everyone, we mean everyone, gets some bonus. Airtel, the smartphone network.
Honorable Ariko Herbert Edmond, also known by many as Babyface, is the Member of Parliament for Soroti Municipality. He belongs to Forum for Democratic Change Party, FDC. Honorable Herbert is born of Soroti district. During his early education, he studied in Swairia Primary School in Soroti. Thereafter, moved to St. Peter's College Tororo for O and A level between 1990 to 1996. In 2000, he acquired his first degree in social sciences at Makerere University. 2003, he went and added a postgraduate diploma in human resource at Uganda Management Institute, UMI. In 2011, he acquired his first master's degree in arts and public management at Makerere University, and in 2015, attained his second master's degree in management studies at UMI. Before joining Parliament in 2016, Honorable Edmond had worked in eminent offices in government and private sector. Between 2000 to 2003, he worked as a personnel officer in Ministry of Public Service, and in 2003 to 2005 in Public Service Commission as a senior personnel officer. Between 2009 to 2013, Honorable Edmond worked as a human resource and program expert with AWEPA in South Sudan. In 2013 to 2015, Honorable Edmond worked with the Parliament of Uganda in 3 positions, that is Senior, Principal and Assistant Director of Human Resource. Soroti district is located in Teso region in eastern Uganda. It borders Amuria, Katakwi, Serere and Kabremaido districts. According to the report by UBOS, it has a population of 296,833. The majority of the population are women at 151,857. It has 3 divisions in the municipality, 10 sub-counties, 26 parishes and 317 villages. People of Soroti are farmers and cattle keepers, but famously known for having the best sweet potatoes by the names of Lumondelwa Soroti. Soroti municipality has a total of 241 schools, 31 secondary schools, 151 primary schools, 6 tertiary schools, 1 teacher training college, and 2 schools for people with special needs. Today, we host Honorable Ariko Herbert Edmond, aka Babyface, in Ask Your MP.
Welcome to Ask Your MP. My name is Oluka Jamila, and I'm so glad to host you in this particular show where we engage with our MPs, where we make them accountable for our votes, where we make them give us what they have done for the people. And also, the beauty about this program is that we make sure that the people ask the questions, and those questions we bring them to the Member of Parliament. And I was in Soroti, I went there, I got the questions, and right now I'm here in Honorable's office. I had to ambush him so that he can answer these questions that people from Soroti Municipality have asked. And people from Soroti Municipality, I know that if you're watching right now, I was in Pamba, Nakatunya, within the municipality, and I know that your questions will be answered today because you chose the Honorable, you voted for him, he's accountable for your votes, he's our legislator, so he has to answer these questions. So Honorable, you're most welcome to our show.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting me in this beautiful office of yours.
You're most welcome.
And thank you for accepting to be ambushed to answer these questions. So,
welcome.
Honorable, I was in Soroti.
Yes.
And people asked the questions. So many questions were asked. And one of the questions that really caught my eye in relation to climate change was about the recycling plant. Could you tell us more about that recycling plant? Because we found some of the youth there and they asked questions. But before I bring their questions, you can kindly greet the people and then tell me about that recycling plant.
Warm greetings and salutations to our dear people of Uganda, the people of Soroti, the UBC TV viewers. My name is Herbert Edmond Ariko, Member of Parliament, Soroti Municipality. I welcome you, Jamila, to my humble office, and I hope that this conversation will be able to help us respond to some of the issues that are critical for us as leaders to give feedback to our people. You asked me about the recycling plant. While at Parliament, I sit at the Committee of Natural Resources and Environment in Parliament, and I've now been in that committee for 4 sessions. But nonetheless, outside that, I am a Ugandan, born, bred, groomed in Uganda. I've worked in Uganda all my life. I live here and my family lives here. I am alive to the fact that the issues of, first of all, management of solid waste, management of plastic and Kavera waste, if you want to use that word, issues of climate change as a result of degradation of the ozone layer are very, very critical. And one of the things that we've been grappling with is what do we do as a country to manage the waste from plastic carry bags, which is Kavera, yes, from the other forms of polythene that is rolling all over our towns, our cities, our municipalities. And by and large, if you assessed, according to statistics given by people who are involved in environmental mitigation interventions, about 90% of the waste material that is in towns and urban areas is from either plastic material or Kavera, or that is plastic carry bags out of polythene. So as Soroti, as you might know, that we are a town that has hitherto been known for our being very clean, being very neat, but we've been grappling with what do we do to manage this Kavera phenomenon, this plastic waste phenomenon. What do we do to get people to have a call to action? And I went around talking to people whom I interacted with through my time in the Committee of Natural Resources, As you might know, there was a very critical issue that we were handling to do with the National Environment Bill.
Yes, yes.
So it exposed, when we were considering that bill as a committee, it exposed me to a number of people who are involved one way or the other in either recycling, collection, disposal, or probably manufacturing of plastics in all the entire value chain of managing of polythene and other polyethylene materials. So I started interacting and I started negotiating with people saying, I would like to see that we have an intervention in Soroti that will help us reduce on the plastic waste and Kavera in the town. Well, as a member of parliament, I know that we do not have all the resources to buy this machinery and so on. So I went ahead and negotiated with one of the partners and signed a lease of machinery so as to set up a plant. And I went back to Soroti. I talked to the then town clerk of Soroti. At that time it was Mr. Banya. And he tried to look around, but it never was easy for the municipality to get us land. So I had to negotiate with an individual so that we can be able to lease land from a person, and then we put up that shelter there. And once we put up the shelter, I completed the leasing process of the machinery that we have, the compressors, the heaters, the boilers, the rollers, the coolers, and then those that pelletize the plastic waste. So now in Soroti what we do is that we have decided to make it more of a community project, whereby the people of Soroti participate, those that can, in collecting Kavera and other plastic waste. At the plant, at the Soroti Recycling Plastic and Kavera Recycling Plant, we buy this material from the people, and then we clean it up, we wash, because you cannot recycle even the sand and other composite waste that is, sometimes people throw away Kavera and in it there is food, there's other sort of materials. We take that out because we know that can decompose. But then the Kavera is what we clean up and then we dry it up before we process it in the machine. So our idea is that when we do it as a community-wide initiative, then we're going to get many more people involved in trying to put together the Kavera and therefore bring it to us. For us, we know what to do with it, in the sense that we will crush it, liquidify it, if I use that simple term, and then have it again, process through the coolers so that it can solidify, and then we pelletize it. Pellets are more like sand granules, but out of plastic material. So at the end of the day, the pellets is what we resell.
I actually visited the plant, and I was able to interact with some of the youth who are involved in this plant. And from the statistics I found there, you can verify. I was told that so far the full-time employees are 15 of them. But also they have other people who keep coming with the Kaveras to sell, and that's also another form of employment. But the question that kept coming up is the health issues. The people there kept, one of the ladies, I think she's called Pio Christine, asked about the materials, the operational materials, and they wanted you to say something about that.
Pure Christ. It has helped me very well. One, I can get money here, what I need I have to buy, no asking money from out. The small money I receive from here, it can help me. Honorable Ariko Edmond, we are here for this program, but we like to ask you something about overalls, uniforms, gloves. We are missing some things here like masks. We need to have another things like gloves, overalls, and some other things you can help us with.
Oluka Ismail, I'm a technician trainer here. We recycle plastic, a Kavera. Actually, we have benefited a lot. We have already cleaned the town. We are not getting more Kavera like before. Kavera was much more in town, but we have tried to reduce, and we are still removing. We want to stop this issue of that Kavera is full in town and they are not issue of cleaning the town, drains and what. We are trying to remove it completely. That's why MP brought this project to help Soroti municipality. I only want him to add more machines here. Can try to remove the whole Kavera from Soroti. We try to clean up the town. I want him to add more machines so that my other fellow youth can get what to do. Like these other ones who have got what to do now, like me. You can see me, my family is eating because of this now. So I wanted him to add for us more machines so that other youths also can get what to do from outside, to stop them from boozing, doing other things outside, so that also they come and join us here.
My name is Atim Juliet Beatrice. I want Honorable Herbert Arico to help us to raise up our salary, to add more money, because we are working here good. The things which you are doing here, washing the caveras, that caveras you have to wash. So he should do us favor to add for us money.
First and foremost, what is the gist of the Soroti plastic and recycling plant? The gist is that, one, we would like to participate as partners in mitigating environmental degradation and therefore check climate change challenges that Uganda is faced today. Yes. So at the core of our mind is, we are Ugandans, we must use the environment sustainably. Other people must be able to find a cleaner and healthier environment than we have today. So that is why we went into this. Number two is that we would like to see that we find a solution to clean up the town. So the recycling plant provides an opportunity for people actually to put together the plastic waste that has been littering and therefore take that litter where we can put it to better use. Number three is we are providing for an opportunity of small income generation, because we don't take the Kavera waste and the plastics from people for free. We actually buy them. We buy the Kavera waste at 400 shillings per kilogram. We buy the plastic waste at 300 shillings per kilogram, meaning that we probably actually procure the things at a slightly higher price than even some of our producer commodities of the other nature. But critical in this is that we get our people involved in cleaning up the environment, we get them involved in participating in mitigating climate change, but more so they earn a small income from what they are doing. The last bit is what you are now addressing, is that we are providing an opportunity for some of our youth. Yes. We cannot employ everybody. It's a small plant, as you've said. You're talking of 15 per se is not typically what you would have people in a factory setting. There are not many in Soroti apart from the Soroti fruit factory and maybe one or two others. We don't have many. So our idea is we can do small things to get the town having somewhere where some of our youth are employed. So these persons have a small source of income. Now, you asked a specific question about the dress and gear that they have.
Yes.
In the meantime, we are able to provide them with overalls. We are able to provide them with industrial boots that they wear. We also give them gloves that they use because, cleaning up and picking Kavera, you need that. And then we provide for people masks. At the moment, that is where we can be. And I think that typically the basic element that you need is you need a mask, you need a glove, you need a boot, an industrial boot, or probably a gum boot. I don't know which one in particular they would prefer to have, but at least we started with a bit of such protective gear, and they have overalls. Each one of those that are full-time with us have 2 sets of uniform. We have tried, if you get the opportunity to visit us, you will definitely see that we have tried to do whatever little we can. We are only just about 5 months old in operation, so we are small.
Yeah.
Indeed, we are not even yet broken even. We are not profitable. However, we try to look for a way to supplement on the overhead costs to ensure that the plant is able to take off on its own. Because as of now, first of all, there are things to do with under capacity in terms of the machines, would have been able to produce at the minimum about 4 to 6 tons per day of pellets. However, my people are only able for now to produce about just 1 ton of pellets a day. So you see that our level is still low. Yes. Why is it so? Because we have chosen not to hire people from the outside. We chose to bring our own local people from Soroti. They were trained here in Kampala in other factories which do recycling. After attending a course of about 3 weeks on machine operation, we are training them on the job so that they perfect their skills. Yes.
I managed to find a foundation for a health center because we just passed by and they said Honorable is doing something like this for the community, but you had actually not told us. So could you tell us a little bit about that health center? Because when we checked the building, it is quite a big building, and how do you manage as a member of parliament? Is government injecting some money there, or are you doing it as courtesy, or is it that you've worked with the district? Just tell us a little bit about that health center.
Well, thank you very much. In my recollection, I'm sure you're speaking about the Eastern Division Health Center 3, which is located at
the one when you're almost
Morapesu.
entering, entering Soroti.
Yeah, some people understand it as Morapesu Health Center 3. Why? Because it started as a health center in Morapesu ward, but yet actually, indeed, in terms of geographical location, it's located in Kengere ward, but it's more or less at the border. So the 2 wards, in other administrative terms, parishes, Morapesu Parish and Kengere Parish, which in the urban center kind of speak, they call wards. It's around the middle of the 2. But definitely as a health center 3 of Eastern Division, it services that area. Indeed, it is true, we are in the process, which is already underway, constructing a ward for women. A women's ward. Yeah, you might ask, why are you defining it as a women's ward? You know that women and our mothers are typical co-procreators with God. They are the ones that really participate in ensuring sustenance of the existence of humans. I have really been able to enjoy a lot of favor from the women, from the fact that I have largely grown up as a child brought up by a single mother, but also when I became a politician, the people who herald most the philosophy of servant leadership that I profess are mostly the women. And therefore, the Morapesu Health Center 3 Women's Ward is a thank you, is an appreciation and recognition for the unique role that the women do. In that plan, we have the section of the ward, the inpatient ward, which will be able to accommodate up to 14 beds of admitted people. We will have a room, a restroom for female nurses, a restroom for male nurses. We will have a doctor's room, we will have a treatment room. It will have a laboratory, then it will have a store, and it will have what they call a sluice. Sluice in medical terms is where they keep the medical waste that requires to be disposed in a strategic or in a more specialized way. On the other section of it is what we typically sometimes forget in public utilities. We will have there washrooms in terms of toilets and showers. There will be showers for the normal patients that are not disabled, but we're also providing for a disabled section of the shower room as well as the toilet, so that even the persons with disability are taken care of. We will have in it a separate facility in terms of toilet as well as shower rooms for the staff as well. So basically speaking, that's the component of what we are trying. Now we have the funding for this Health Center 3 Women's Ward in about five elements. The Member of Parliament of Soroti Municipality, myself, because I am the brainchild to this, I am going to make a few personal sacrifices and put in resources, financial, material and human, to see that this project is up to some extent. I have some friends, some of them who are business people in Uganda here, who have accepted to put in their personal money to help me out with this project. The other element of where we are going to get support is typically the local government. The local government, not in the sense that they are going to put in money, but we are building the ward in land owned by
So you don't
Eastern
really have
Division.
to buy the land?
Yeah, I am not buying the land. We just simply wrote to them and said, we have an offer to build for the people, for the community, a ward. Are you willing to accept it? The LC3 chairperson, Papa John Robert Esaru, graciously said, I will put this before the Council of Eastern Division. They graciously accepted and approved. He wrote back to us and said, yes, of course, we are ready to give you space within the health center land to build it. So they are partners. They also carry out on-spot monitoring and supervision of the work. That means they have put in an input. It's not typically us. The fifth level is that at a certain point, we will go around and ask people of goodwill, such as yourself, Jamila, and others. We will call you there, and then maybe together we will sit together. And if you are able to buy us one bag of cement, if you are able to buy us one complete cistern of a toilet and the like, we will be happy that you have helped us in this. So there is a fifth element which is most critical from the goodwill of the people.
My name is Akelo Isabella. I'm the head prefect of St. Mary's Girls SS Madera in Soroti. Honorable MP, as the MP of Soroti constituency, I would like to really ask what we do for the girls in case, like senior 4 girls, in case all of them get Division 1. I would really like to know what he will do for for the Form 4 students in case all of them pass in Division 1.
Assuming I get 8 aggregates for 8 or 10 for 8, would you help me to pay my tuition for HSC?
Which package does the MP have for us? Or it is only for the senior 4s and senior 6?
You don't work hard in maths and next time you do well. What will the MP give you? Will you continue paying your school fees or will stop?
Then as some of us who are in the middle, we are not on top, but we are in the middle. And we also don't have parents who are able to pay our school fees, but we want to study. How will he help us?
Question I would actually tell him is maybe to help those whose parents are trying and are really failing, and to allow those who cannot afford to also get the material while they're at school. Because it is not their wish. They also wish to be at school, but because of some challenges, they find themselves disturbed.
Managed to go to one of the schools that you support, and we met some of the girls. There was the girl, I think if I remember very well, there was a Muchu Zipora, there was a Kuru Tubisaki, a Team Aisha, about 4 girls that have benefited directly from you, and then others have told us you've been giving them like scholastic materials, and their questions are, will you support them even after they are done with senior 4? And then one of them also asked that your mark is 8 for 8. What if they get 10? Will you still support them? Some of them are really average students, but they are really doing badly, but they have the will to study. So they requested me that please make sure that you ask Honorable these questions and he answers, and they will be watching you on screen today.
Thank you. From what the girls say, I can only understand their thinking, I can only understand their concerns, their worries, but just to set the record straight, it's not typically girls that are being educated by the foundation. We have a number of boys. We have some of the boys at Teso College Aloyet. We have some of the boys at Soroti Municipal SS. We have some of the students at Halshon High School on Serere Road. We have some of them at Soroti Senior Secondary School. We have a few who are in tertiary institutions,
so
universities
what is
and
the
the like.
total number?
In total so far we have 54 students, ranging from, I think we have exception of about 3 students, that pupils that are in primary. Those are just really exception, because we normally don't go to the level of primary. But you know, like there's There's a girl from Kichinjaji whose father and mother died. Her grandmother is invalid. She stays with the grandmother. And the school fees at Kichinjaji is as small as something like about 60-something thousand, and this girl was dropping out. So the head teacher of Kichinjaji, who is actually my former teacher in primary 1, Mrs. Esther Akwap, came in and told me, this girl is very brilliant, let's take her in. So there are those typical exceptions. That is where we have a very few in the primary, but we normally start in from secondary. And then we have 2 other unique cases. Those are students at the St. Peter's Minor Seminary, Madera. Those who are in formation to be priests. And this was typically from a request of His Lordship, the Bishop, for us to help also seminarians from destitute families, and if their children are willing to go through formation. The other element that I don't want to forget is that we have a special consideration for children with disability. Every time, if we are taking, whether we are taking 10, for instance, 2 must be children with disability. So we always try. So from Madera School for the Blind, we took, so far we have 3 of them that are also benefiting from support from the foundation. Now, what the girls asked you, coming to that, in brief, 1, we do not give out scholarship support as a matter of course. It goes with some standards.
Yes.
We don't operate the Herbert Ariko Foundation scholarship scheme as a carry bag of the Member of Parliament. No, because Herbert Ariko Foundation has a board of trustees. So they set a basic minimum criteria. Though I am the chairman of the foundation,
but you
the
have
founder,
other people,
but people work with us.
Yes.
Besides the board of trustees, we have the Herbert Ariko Selections Committee.
Okay.
The Selections Committee has 9 people. There are people who are educationists, there are people who are teachers, there are leaders. The chairpersons of the 3 divisions of Sorority sit in the Selections Committee.
Those are the LC3.
Yeah, LC3 chairpersons.
Yes.
We also have a retired district education officer as the chairman of the Selections Committee. So they develop the criteria. When they talk about the standard is 8 aggregate and below, it's because they think that at that point that is what they require of you. If they say that there will be an exception for the girls this year, maybe they have looked at the performance and they think that this exception is this or the other. But I don't want it to be confused with what I said when I was at St. Mary's Girls Senior Secondary School. I always have what they call the MP Day.
Yes.
MP Day is when I visit a school. I usually look for some little money to buy some rice, a bull and the like. Yes. And then that day I become part of the students' community. We slaughter the bull with the students, they cook, the students perform arts, drama and the like. We do prayers, whatever, play football and the like. But the purpose is that during that day, I deliver some bit of a talk to motivate the students, to get them focused on their education, so that I want to see leadership in action from me, not just simply sitting up there and lamenting why people are not performing. The girls have to realize that we use a criteria, that criteria is what determines who gets selected for bursaries, and 2, that we are not able to take everyone. There are so many people that I need that are so desperate for support, but the Herbert Ariko Foundation does not have limited resources. So we can only do the humble bit that we can.
Restored by the long-awaited Samaritan, none other than my member of parliament. Your wipe a tear from my weary face. Your full caressing place in my heart forever. You made my dreams wider than Lake Victoria. The children of Sorority Municipality. The master seed. The master seed of Sorority Municipality and Mother Teso at large. We appreciate everything you have done for us. You own so much a heart that is very big and capacious to accommodate that unique love for humanity. And above all, thinking about the future of the little ones. In your beautiful mind, your qualities combined are extremely rare.
My name is Francis Serra, Vice Chairman, LOC1 YSL. The place we are in is Nakatunya Primary School, located in Western Division in Soroti Municipality. Honorable Ariko, to the best of my knowledge, has supported women groups. During his campaign, he stated very clearly that he was going to empower the women, most especially on how to support their families. The question that I would want to ask the MP is this one here. The President of the Republic of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has always emphasized that he wants to have everybody in the middle income status. But most of the times when some of us access to meet the President, he says most of the projects and pledges for TESO, for him, he doesn't have people who remind him. Why is it that the pledges made here in TESO by His Excellency Kaguta Museveni most of them have not been fulfilled, and yet he's there in Parliament to remind this gentleman that this is what we need.
We wanted a help from him to give us some assistance in those groups so that we can manage to be good people in this world. He can give us some money for development, our groups.
We managed to speak to women from Nakatunya and a gentleman, the LC1, Chairman Erao Francis.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'll just put two questions in one. The chairman said that you had that Soroti municipality needs the president to go there. I think the president has been promising them, and he said that through you, they are member of parliament. Are you going to try to make sure that the president goes there and speaks to them? And then also the lady, she's called Lusa Bulo, the chairperson for Women Association there. She appreciated the help that you've given them, but she still said that they still have young women who are joining them. And what kind of help are you going to give them as women?
Thank you very much. I begin with the chairperson's question, which is rather very... but anyway, the president was in, I think he was in Soroti in June, yeah, and he probably spent about 2-3 days there when he was going on the Operation Wealth Creation outreaches. During that time, he even opened the roads, commissioned the roads that were constructed under USMIT, the Urban Municipalities Infrastructure Development Project, and I think that was really an official visit that he had to Soroti. About whether or not I should be able to invite the president is the head of state. He's the chief executive of Uganda. He's always welcome to Soroti municipality, and I know that UBC TV, being a national television and actually the official government broadcaster, I am definitely sure that State House and the presidency are viewing this program. As member of parliament, I welcome the president to Soroti. We, the people of Soroti, much like any other place of Uganda, deserve the president's visit and also look forward to continued support from the presidency to our community, to our municipality, to everyone else that comes from Soroti. When I was officiating as master of ceremonies as well as interpreter for the president during the official visit that he had recently, and I actually extended this invitation and I said, Mr. President, as of now, you are the head of state, welcome to Soroti.
Yes.
Because he is the person who holds the national pass.
Yes.
You cannot say you don't want what will happen to my dear people there. When he comes there, there's an opportunity for them to request him
Yes.
to be able to support them. About the women, as you said, I welcome the women who are organized. We have many organized women in Soroti. What lacks is capacity. And unfortunately, the member of parliament cannot provide beyond the personal resources that he has. I can lobby, but I can lobby as much as I can. I can try to connect with the government projects like WEP, Uganda Women's Empowerment Project, or for the youth, the Uganda Youth Livelihood Project. But that is only limited to the extent of lobbying, how lobbying can reach. But I like the fact that my women, the mothers of Soroti, have organized themselves in groups. And my idea is as I told them in the campaign, that we will try whatever we can in our means to support your groups. We can support the groups by providing some small resources, because these people save. Every week you find them collecting 2,000, 5,000 each into a pool, which later accumulate, then they lend to each other. So these are people that are saving and giving credit of between 200, 500,000. There are few that go in millions, but most of them are just between 100,000 to 1 million shillings. Our idea is, if they have been able to lend each other in terms of credit 20,000, if we are able to put in 300,000, 500,000 to this group, and their ability to lend goes from 20,000 to 50,000, so that the woman who has been selling one kisero, you know what they call kisero, like a small heap of tomatoes. Yes. If she can move from 2 heaps to about 5 heaps, yes, you would have helped her. So my idea is, besides them looking around for support from government and other entities, I want to sacrifice some of the little that I have to support this group. What I do usually is I go back and try and ask them, with the little that I gave you, you women market vendors, what have you done?
And
How
actually,
have you grown?
you did the same thing with the women from Pamba,
yes,
and they were actually very excited.
Yes.
They told me to pass their message.
Yes.
The issue of giving them jerseys and playing football.
Yes, that is on the aspect actually of health and well-being. We combine. The best way to mobilize people is to create ideas that they rally around. So like in Pamba, one of the things that is rallying them is sports, where they are doing football, they want to introduce netball. So we use that as a formula to be able to rally them together, then you intervene. For instance, in January, we will be doing entrepreneurship and savings training. All the leaders of the women groups, chairperson, treasurer, and secretary, as well as a few, yes, that are having, because some of the groups have even men, we will call them to a training, and we'll get an expert in entrepreneurship and saving to train them so that they know how to reinvest this money, how to manage their loan portfolios.
We want to thank our Honorable MP, Ariko, for the support he has given us with the making the team and the association, savings.
Since we started this association, it has brought unity to the women of Pamba.
I'm called Ali Mustafa. I'm a born of Soroti town, and I've been working with I am working with the Gateway Bus Company. At the same time, I'm in the taxi park. As for this park, he has encouraged us to make sure that the park is clean by him coming to visit here regularly. And indeed, even today in the morning he has been here. And not only here, even in the bus park where I am. I would like to ask the Honorable MP to tell us what is he going to do to make sure that this park starts off. What is he going to do to make sure that the taxi park is worked on and the lights are working, it's marked, so that taxis can come in. This is what we want him to tell us. Let him put rubbish dustbins for only caveras, and should be written there that is for caveras, so that whoever has got a cavera you throw there, not plus other rubbish like leftover foods, no. If we could start that, even municipality, if they could start like that, we only put dustbins for caveras strictly, I think we shall save Soroti town.
I managed to meet one of the veteran transport gentleman called Ali Mustafa.
Okay,
yeah, Ali
okay,
Mustafa.
okay.
And Ali Mustafa's question was one, and I want you to be direct with it. He said, you have brought the recycling plant, you have tried to keep Soroti clean, but the issue of transport has lagged for about 8 years. They haven't gotten their dockets. And then he also requested you, if possible, you could either educate people or work with the municipality to make sure that you have dustbins that are separated from the normal rubbish, that this should be for Kavera. so that they move along with that slogan which says Vaku Kavera. So tell us something about that in brief.
First of all, the concept of Vaku Kavera, as used at the campaign that is spearheaded by NEMA, for us in Soroti, my idea is, let's look for a way to retrieve what is already deposited in our environment. And that is emphasizing on community action to retrieve and for us to recycle so that we clean up. Number two is that there is a law in place, the National Environment Act Clause 75, which specifies the grading, the microns, and the likes of allowable and prohibited or banned Kavera. So I think that that is at that level. However, coming back to the question, the dustbins, indeed we have them. Not in full, but so far I have in my possession up to 100 pieces of garbage bins, which we want to have distributed in strategic places in town so that people can be able to use them as depository of Kavera. But as you know, when you have the element of buying Kavera and then you're putting a dustbin for free Kavera, you also know that there's a cross purpose there, because yes, who wants to drop it there and you take it for free? Many people yes, would like to put it together like the way the youth do there, and then they come and pick up their 4,000, 10,000, 20,000 shillings. But indeed we are going to go ahead and do this. What you might want to say, and I don't want to stray into politicking because I usually try to distinguish when I speak of things, is sometimes misconstruing and lack of in-depth analysis of the goodwill meant by leaders, particularly members of parliament. Yes. So many times I am not an isolated case. You find members of parliament get into a little bit of troubles working with certain elements in the local government, especially so if they think that you're doing the things for which people are going to ask them for account. So I have had a little bit of a challenge, and that is why we've had some of these garbage bins with us. It's close to almost I've had them for close to a year now.
And are they
from the time we did Keep Soroti Clean?
Yes, are the people using them or?
That's what I'm saying. Because if they have to be distributed, you can only do that through the setup of the municipal council.
Yes.
And as we were transiting between two town clerks, you know, there was foot dragging here. But I don't want to get into some of those because I normally don't speak of things when the other people have no opportunity of reply. And today you are hosting me here alone. So I don't want to bring in names here. But we will eventually find a way to distribute these dustbins all over. We have them. Okay, what I want to answer about the question of the park is that the Soroti Park is under the framework of USMID 2. And therefore, from the delivery of the USMID 2 project, definitely we will have reconstruction of the park done.
So, Honorable, we've talked about the constituents, but also you raised something this year. If I remember, it was either on the 23rd of July, 23rd of January. Yes, you raised something very, very critical in the plenary during the session about
anti-slavery bill.
Yes, it was the anti-slavery bill.
Or rather what we call the modern slavery bill. As you know now that we are in a period where externalization of labor, the forced labor, commercial sexual exploitation, organ trafficking, holding people in debt bondage, all those vices that accrue to modern day slavery are happening. So I moved a law that will criminalize all aspects of modern day slavery and provide for penalties for people who actually participate in enslaving others. We have also gone ahead to provide for a mechanism for repatriation of victims of slavery, because sometimes people become slaves away from the country. So you need to provide for a way in which they will come back. So that is the brief recap of the anti-slavery bill. We have actually,
where are you? Which stage
we've finished all the drafting work. The Office of the Clerk to Parliament, as required by the rules, has written to the Minister of Finance seeking for a certificate of financial implication. Once we have that, because a private member's bill, you require that. And once we have it, we will bring the bill on the floor of the House for first reading. After the first reading, it will go to the committee for scrutiny, and thereafter it will normally take about 45 days to maybe 3 months with the committee. Then it will come for second reading. That is where we do close by close debate and hopefully passing of the bill if Parliament considers it fit. The other thing that you might have picked where we've been passionate about as member of the Committee on National Economy, we preside over a lot of money that is used for government infrastructure projects. And one of the key issues that I have been following up is the issue of the loan, 379 million for construction of the International Specialized Hospital of Uganda at Lubowa. And as you remember, I raised an alarm on the floor of Parliament that there was something going wrong. Part of the money was being released by the African Development Bank, African Trade Development Bank, and some of it was not arriving. And then I also warned Parliament that there's something going wrong. But as you remember, 3 weeks later, we heard that the partners, Finasa and Rocco, were fighting. There were guns all over the site. Eventually, you know that the Minister of Finance went with the Committee of National Economy. They were denied access. So, and people are in court.
What challenges have you faced as a member of Parliament? Those key challenges in terms of deliverance to the constituency?
I am a former student of literature, and I use a lot of allegory when I speak. The late Cuthbert Orena said, being alive means solving problems. If you don't want to solve problems, then you better become a corpse. That's what he said. And, so there are always going to be challenges. But yes, as a leader, I face challenges. As member of Parliament, one of my biggest challenges is a crisis of identity. One, in the sense that I come from a very structured background of profession. I was a public servant. I am trained in management and human relations, very much so. Sometimes the way things are done in politics does not augur well with a structured way of doing things.
Honorable, you're trying to bring a lot of literature. So
no, that's not literature. The thing is that in politics there are sometimes too many shortcuts.
Yes.
Sometimes people don't follow a certain strict way of moving from A to B. And when you try to do that, you quickly become a boring politician. That's a challenge, of course, because it's a crisis of whatever. What do you do? Do you go with a typical politician and be popular, or do you do the things in the best way you know how? So that is, to me, a very severe challenge. Number two is in the leadership of Uganda today, unfortunately so, the roles and responsibilities of members of Parliament have gotten muddled up with the things that they would have done if they so wished. There is a constant expectation that the members of Parliament are a solution to everything that
that's what I was about to ask you. That do people in your constituents understand the role of a member of Parliament?
Well, I think people have a fair understanding of the roles of the member of Parliament. But again, the people are faced with very dire needs and high levels of poverty. So when you see in your community one person who seems to be fairly placed, you think that they should be able to help you whenever you come. And you see, Soroti municipality, as of the census of 2014, had 49,000 people. Not all the 49,000 will know that Jamila has contacted you. They will not know that so and so has contacted. They contact you from their own expectation. So it is you, the member of Parliament, who knows that 20, 30, 50 people are contacting. But for them, they are innocent. They all hope that their member of Parliament should provide a solution. So that's one of the challenges. You feel the pain in people. You feel their desperation. You feel that you need to do something. Only that you are limited.
My last question is, shall we expect you come 2021 on the ballot paper? We need to know.
Well, I don't know. In as far as I know, first of all, it does not matter for how long a leader has been in office, but it matters for what are the contributions he will make to change the lives of the people in the short time that he's been in office. So I am not much more persuaded about how long I will be a member of parliament. But what are the things I will do to do that? The question that you ask is something that what you would call truism in research.
Yes.
That it is an hypothesis that doesn't need to be tested. I will definitely, by the grace of God, offer myself for re-election as member of parliament in Soroti, and I certainly know that in as far as the Soroti people are concerned, I think we are working together as a team, and that they appreciate the servant philosophy leadership, and I trust them to elect me back to Parliament in 2021.
Thank you very much, Honorable. Thank you so
very much
for hosting us here in your office and for telling us all the things about Soroti Municipality.
Thank you.
I want again to thank you, all our viewers from UBC TV Inspiring Uganda. My name is Oluka Jamil, of course the host of Ask Your MP, and I've been here really, talking to Honorable Ariko Herbert Edmond, the Member of Parliament for Soroti Municipality, one of the biggest municipalities we have in Teso sub-region. However, you've heard what he has talked about in terms of all stages that we've touched, issues of the youth, the women, and everything. But because of time, I will just tell you that keep watching UBC Inspiring Uganda and watch out for another Member of Parliament come Tuesday next week. For now, have a good night.
Now is the time. They shall be dream together.
Masape from Airtel is back, and everyone, we mean everyone, gets a bonus. All you have to do, check your target, recharge, get 100% bonus on data and minutes. Dial *162# today to know your target.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's just a minute once again past 10 o'clock. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Elizabeth Nakakoni will be joining us in a short while. Let's first look at the top stories.